If it's working or not. Hello, everybody. My name is Steve, and I'm here today with Danielle. Danielle, thanks for joining me for for this Friday conversation.
Hey, I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we were just talking before we went live about live concerts because you had gone to a concert recently,
This is
and
true.
yeah, so a little jealous because all of our concerts got postponed for the pandemic and everything. So, what is it like going to a live concert?
Um, it was just pretty much like normal. I mean, like I mentioned, we were outside at this particular event. Masks were not required. Um, People were like sitting on top of each other. So it was pretty much just like a concert in the old days, pre-COVID days.
It's crazy how different things are now with the pandemic and lockdowns and everything else. So it's I want to hear what it's like to go to a concert again because it's weird.
Yeah. No, it
Yeah.
was it was just like a concert we would have always been to. Hey,
Wow.
Amy.
Hey, Amy. And Raul is here. Hey, Raul. And John from Hey Y'all Listen Up
John
is
is
here.
here. No,
Yeah. And Saf is here.
goodness.
Thanks, Saf, for dropping by. And JB Taylor's here.
Hey,
Hey,
JB.
JB. And Nikki's here. Hey, Nikki. How you doing? Thanks for coming by. And we were talking a little bit too about my wife Brandy's here too, so
Hi,
she's in the room.
Brandy.
But we're going to our first concert next week, so we're pretty excited.
Yeah. What'd you say,
Yeah,
Dave Matthews Band?
yeah, we're finally going to a concert again. All we had like four concerts lined up, and they all got postponed.
Yeah,
So
that
it's
sucks.
kind of a bummer. Yeah,
There was a lot of that.
yeah, and good. I'm doing pretty good. How was your week, Danielle? How did your week go?
It was good. It was just life, work and kids and yeah, chaos.
I can relate, definitely.
I might have squeezed some reading in there. but
So, what are you reading this week?
so I think you saw my Twitter poll. I am reading The Sanatorium by Sarah Pierce. And this is a book that I'm reading as a read along with Eurovision readathon. I don't Eurovisionathon, something like that. Um anyway, yeah, so it's a mystery thriller
How do you like it?
kind of. Um you know, I'm in the final pages, and when I first started reading it, I was like, okay, this has potential, right? So I was more of like I was at like the 4-star range unless she just completely wowed me. And then as the story has gone on, well, and I should say I related with the main character because she's got some anxiety and she's got people in her life that think she can just like turn it off. And so I was like, oh, I feel you, girl. But then, like, as I've been reading, she has not been the brightest crayon in the box, and she has been making stupid decisions, and I'm falling out of love with her. So, so yeah, I'm back and forth between a 2 and 3-star right now.
Hmm.
So, yeah.
And Brad Proctor's here. Hey, Brad. Thanks for dropping by. And I think season 2 of Paper Cut starts tonight too, in about 50 minutes.
Kim is here. Hey,
Hey,
Kim.
hey, Kim.
Who
Thanks
did
for
I
coming by.
see in concert? I saw I saw Stained and Corn in concert.
How was Corn? Were they pretty good?
They were good. It's not Korn is not like a band I normally follow, and so the lead singer, he was like I think he had actually had COVID recently, and he was but then I also heard he already had like a pre-existing lung thing, so he was having to sit down a lot during the performance, but I mean, they were still good. We had a blast. So,
Yeah, they came here. I think our friends went to see Corn, and they said the same thing, that it was kind of different because I think two people were missing because they had COVID, like the guitarist or something. It's
okay.
kind of a bummer. Yeah. So they said the same thing, that they were still good, but kind of weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what I keep hearing about the sanatorium. That's a bummer.
Yeah, I kind of went in blind, so yeah. But I had Helen at Helen's Bookhaven. She read it Um, and she gave it 4 stars. So, I mean, there are people that are liking it. So, Stained.
And haven't
Yes.
listened to them for ages. I think they just started touring again, right? Because I forget the lead singer's name. He was doing country for a while.
Aaron Lewis. Yeah,
Aaron Lewis.
he still is, as far as I know. Yeah, this was like one of the first shows that they had done together again. So,
How did they sound? Were they pick up where they left off, kind of thing, or were they a
uh,
little off?
I mean, as far as I know, it was great.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I hadn't ever been to one of their concerts before. I mean, I know some of their songs, but I hadn't ever seen them live. So, yeah, it was good.
And Saf is asking, what are y'all's plans for spooky season? What are your plans for October?
As far as like reading or or
Anything?
just for fun stuff. I don't know. We were talking about doing the pumpkin patch tomorrow. Pumpkin patch, and there's like a fall festival and stuff like that. I love fall. So, we already bought our Halloween candy, which I don't know if that's actually going to make it until Halloween, but we have it.
Is and I wonder about Halloween and trick or treating and stuff. If there'll be many trick or treating, because I don't think we had many last year
Oh, okay.
because of the pandemic. So the candy may be all yours.
Yeah, I just moved in May, and so I moved from like the country to more of like a subdivision area. There are tons of kids here, so
Hmm.
I'm hoping hoping we have lots of trick or treaters.
Take that candy off your hands, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Any plans to read any horror this month? Or are you sticking with anything different? Or
I don't know. I Horror is not usually my go-to. I did get so any recommendations, I'm down for like someone who doesn't normally read it. I do have a middle grade book. I think that's called Small Spaces, and I'm trying to think. I can't think of the author's name right now, but um, I'm really wanting to get that one read this month.
I've heard of that somewhere. Let's see. Catherine Arden.
Yes, yeah, the same
Okay.
lady that wrote The Bear and the Nightingale, which I
Oh,
have
that's
not
right.
read either, but I have that one too. So,
I've heard a lot about that one too. About the Bear and the Nightingale. But that's really good.
yeah,
I started off October with Dracula, my first time reading it, and I'm really liking it. It's not what I
Dracula.
expected, but that's not a bad thing. Yeah, we're
Is
reading
that
Dracula this month.
I was gonna say, is that one you guys are doing as a buddy read?
Yeah, we're having a meetup on October 30th
Okay.
for Dracula.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I usually like the classics, so yeah, that may be one. I was trying to figure out how I was gonna get in on a buddy read with you guys, so that may be how I do it.
Yeah, we're a little bad because we have so many going on at once. So it's hard. It's kind of it's. I've thought about that too. It's probably hard to jump in because there's so many going on.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's one that I think we're pretty solid on because it's a Halloween thing or a day before
Cool.
Halloween. Yeah. So you have a LNSF says I'm reading that for the group read. Oh, cool. And I have the audiobook from Libby, but haven't started.
Nice.
Nice. Yeah, I've never
Amy
read it.
loves Dracula.
Yeah. I just bought the Bear and the Nightingale. Oh, that's
Mm.
why it sounded familiar
Well,
because she just
that's a
bought it.
potential buddy
Yeah.
read right there,
There
because
you
I
go.
have it.
There you go.
I have it.
You mentioned buddy around us, and we'll never stop bugging you. So be careful.
I love buddy. I live for buddy reads. Like that's my favorite.
You get along good with us then because we're always about the buddy reads.
Yeah, I think books are so much more fun when you can talk them over with your pals.
Yeah, and it's funny because especially in the last this last month we read If It Bleeds, and there's a story in there that I wasn't too sure about whether I liked it or not. I
Oh, the
liked it, but I
Stephen
wasn't
King one?
sure. Yeah, so when we had the
Mhm.
meetup and we talked about it, I saw the story in a whole different way. So it's
Oh,
funny
wow.
how it can
Yeah,
it can
I
kind of
love that.
blossom. Yeah, after you
Mhm.
have a chance to
Give you a
talk about
different
it.
perspective. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So with your booktube channel, what do you focus on? What's your channel? What's kind of the focus of your channel?
Mm,
What do you enjoy doing?
well, if you've paid attention, my upload schedule is like sporadic. Like you've heard of a mood reader, I'm like a mood filmer. Plus, this is really like this is a hobby for me. Um, something I do in my free time, which I don't always have a lot of. So, but yeah, I would say the main feature on my booktube channel is my TBR game right now. My TBR game and the read along. So the lunar along. So
And
yeah.
I think that's the first video of yours I saw is your TBR game. I thought that was so cool. So for people who
Yeah.
aren't familiar with it, how do you choose your TBR? Because I think it's really neat idea.
So one of my favorite I love board games, first of all. One of my favorite board games of all time is Clue. My kids hate playing with me because I win. Um, but so it's Clue, but on each of the cards that I place in the individual rooms, the study, the library, the kitchen, etc., there's a prompt on those cards. And then I've also got a stack of Clue cards that sit off to the side. And in that stack, there are 5 books that I've randomly chosen off of my unread TBR. And there are 4 books that I want to read this month. Like I put those in there because I want to read them. So I roll the dice. I usually start with 5 rolls because 5 books in a month is pretty doable for me. And so the rolls determine what I read, and then the fun part, I think what a lot of people enjoy is my case file because so once I have the reads chosen for the month, I put the names of those books in a box and I draw out 3 of them. I don't know what they are. I stick them in the case file, and then when the next month comes around, I pull those out of the case file. If I read the book that's on the little slip of paper, that's awesome, no penalty. If I did not, then I add another roll, and yeah. And when I didn't read one and it wasn't in the case file, I call that getting away with murder, and that's the name of the game. So yeah, it's a lot of
Yeah,
fun.
it's a really cool idea. And Jay's here. The world according to Jay's here. We can start now because he's here.
Oh, hey, Jay.
And the case file, I thought it was. How did you come up with that system? Was it just something that you thought about, or just kind of
I
came to
do
you?
not
Or
even know right now. I just I loved watching other people's TBR games, and I was like, okay, I want to pick a game that I love, something that I'll have fun with. And just kind of I think I'm reaching right now, but I think just in writing the rules, because you kind of have to play it through to see how it's gonna actually work. I knew I needed some kind of like penalty system, and so that particular version of the game comes with the case file. And when you play the regular game, excuse me, there is, at the end of the game, there's, the person, the weapon, and the room inside that case file. So I kind of went with the 3, and yeah.
it's really neat. I was wondering how you came up with that whole system because it seems like it took a little bit of thought and
Yeah.
playing it and making sure it works and
Yeah, I
a lot of thought
actually
there.
surprisingly haven't had to make very many revisions to my game since I made it. So I don't know how that happened.
And Jay just subbed. I don't think we read the same stuff, but that doesn't matter. All right. Yeah, we can
Yeah.
all get along. We can all get along. And
Yeah.
I think it's funny how the different there's it seems like there's little like there's the horror groups and there's fantasy and there's like nonfiction and we can all get along. We
It's
can all be
funny
friends.
because I feel like I read a handful of different genres. It just so happens that horror is not one of them. But yeah, I mean, my shelves are full of like classics and middle grade and contemporary fiction and fantasy and, mystery thriller. But I haven't found
Yeah.
any horror that has made me like get passionate about it just yet. So there's your challenge, Steve.
All right. Let me think on that. Maybe we can get you to read Dracula. We'll start with that.
Yeah. Yeah. That would be
Yeah.
awesome.
And my classy vigilante, that's my son. He's reading Dune. I think a lot of people are
Oh,
reading Dune right now.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because is there a
Really good.
movie? Is there going to be
Mm.
a movie?
Yeah, a little jealous because Yolene, for Yolene Reeds, lives in Belgium and she watched the movie already. So a little jealous that she got to
Oh.
watch it early. Yeah,
Oh, because it's out there already.
yeah. So she got it a little early. Seth says, I love TBR games. I sometimes do the D20 challenge.
D20.
I have 20 prompts and I just roll the die. Is that the singular of dice? Yeah, that's a singular of dice. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
something that, yeah, the die. Yeah, it's kind of funny.
D20. Yeah. The 20-sided dice. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah,
It's
it's
good.
bad. Diversity of thought is important. And Reddy says, I read everything but horror too, but this month I'm making myself read horror all month to see how I feel about it and give it a real chance.
That's
Yeah,
a good idea.
she gets, we can't watch a horror movie without watching something funny after. She,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
so
I feel
she's
you.
trying to get out the comfort zone. Yeah. A Star Reed says, I love watching a variety of
Yes.
channels because then I get recommendations from people who really know their genre as well. That's a good point.
That is a good point.
Yeah. It's just funny that these little little groups, but it's great when we can all come together and agree on something.
We all love books. That's all you need to know.
Exactly, yeah. And I noticed, speaking of fantasy, there was one book in your case file that seemed to keep getting passed
Oh
over.
my gosh. You haven't read Sanderson either, right?
No, I'm not gonna go there.
And I started that thing. So Mistborn came up twice because it's haunting me. And I started it in February and I really just couldn't get into it. So I put it down. And Amy, A Star Reads, that you see popping up, she's my Lunar Along co-host. And she said that it may be because, I think Amy was the one that said this. It may be because I like character driven books.
Hmm.
And this one is more, like plot driven or something like that. So yeah, I'm not saying I'm like totally quitting and not ever going to try Brandon Sanderson again, or that I'm not ever going to get through Mistborn, because at this point it's just like I've been challenged. It's personal. But yeah. Hmm.
It's not leaving you alone. I thought that was really funny how it came back up again.
It was funny. It was funny, and that, yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, I've been avoiding Sanderson. I hear a lot of great things about it. It just the size of those books is really just intimidating.
Hmm. Somebody told me I should try Skyward because it is that what it's called? I think it's Skyward. Anyway, it's his YA novel, and that I
Hmm.
might like that, which is a good point. I might like that. So I might give it a go.
Hmm. And Amy says yes, which is why I think you would like Farseer better than Mistborn at this point.
Which I did read the first one in the Farseer trilogy, and I did love it.
Hmm.
And I named my cat after the main character, so
Oh wow. You must have really liked it then.
but I haven't read any more. That was a couple months ago I read that one.
Hmm. And Kayla Len's in here, and Kayla, I think, would be able to help us with the horror recommendation because Kayla
Oh,
is great. Kayla does some fantastic reviews for horror books. So Kayla, if you just popped in, we're looking for horror book recommendations for someone who is uh, not into horror yet. So
he
something
said
not
yet.
too dark. Yeah, not yet. Something like The Dark Tower might be a place to start because that's kind of fantasy and horror mixed.
Okay, I'm making notes.
Yeah, we just started that a few months ago because I hadn't read any Stephen King until a couple of months
Okay,
ago. Yeah,
what's
and
it
it's not too
about?
scary. Well, the first book, the first book is really confusing. The Gunslinger is really confusing.
Okay, I think I
Um,
remember seeing you say that.
yeah, we're all lost, and then it's hard to explain. It's about a gunslinger and a quest to find the Man in Black.
Okay,
Yeah, and so I'm
I like a
still
good
getting
quest.
yeah. So it sounds to me like a long quest. It's like 8 books long.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, but you just have to get through the gunslinger because the gunslinger is really weird and it makes zero sense. But it's starting after the second book. It makes a little bit more sense. Not a whole
Okay.
lot, but a little bit. And the expedition through pages says, I'm getting through Ha before starting Sanderson. I was excited, but now a bit worried as I also like character driven books.
Uh-huh.
And Kayla says, The Dark Tower is a great start. It's not horror, but it kind of eases you into horror elements. Yeah,
Okay.
I think it might be a good start. And Stephen King, so
Right.
might open the door for other horror. Yeah, I read some lots of horror this last month, so getting a little bit more familiar with it. But and same thing with the Green Mile by Stephen King. It's a fantasy with horror scenes.
I've seen the movie. Is it the same? Green
I'm not
Mile?
sure. I haven't watched the movie or read the book, sadly, so I'm not sure.
The one with
But
Tom
maybe I can
Hanks?
help. Yeah, I
Yeah.
keep hearing how great it is, though. I just haven't
Oh, it's so
haven't
good.
watched it.
The movie is great. I've watched the movie more than once, for sure.
Hmm. So something I always try and ask all the booktubers that come is how do you do reviews? How do you or do you enjoy reviews? What kind of reviews do you like to do? Do you like to watch? What is your scoring system? All that fun stuff.
So when I first started doing reviews, I just had my Bookstagram. So I started out on Bookstagram in like December of 2019, and I was doing all my reviews there. And so I kind of developed a format um, because I personally like shorter reviews. And so I generally pick out a quote from the book that I feel like represents the book well. And then I might give like a brief synopsis. Sometimes I don't. And then I just share what I think, share whether or not I would recommend it. Um, as far as like star ratings go, I I was just talking about this. I think maybe on like a YouTube, a BookTube live. It might have been like a reading sprints thing, but I don't do like half stars because it's just or partial stars. It's just easier for me. So 1 star is it was awful, awful. 2 stars is I didn't like it. So that's more of like a personal preference.
Mm.
3 stars, it was okay. 4 stars, I really liked it. And 5 stars is it was freaking awesome. You better pick it up. So that's my star rating. Um, yeah, and then I haven't done a whole lot of reviews on my Booktube channel, or if I do, I kind of tie them in with my TBR game. And just when I'm talking about the books that I did get to in the previous month, I might say a little bit of something about them, but I always say what I rated them. So, um, yeah, that's pretty much how I do it.
It's funny how everyone has their own little system for star ratings and things like that. And I always thought using point fives or 0.25s is kind of cheating.
Just make up your mind.
Just make it a
Yeah,
10-star system then.
I even tried. I feel like last year I tried the Caw Pile system where it's like a spreadsheet, and are you familiar with that?
Mm-mm.
I think G at Book Roast. I'm not necessarily plugging her, but I think she came up with it, and it's like a spreadsheet that you rate the book on a scale of like 1 to 10 based on different elements. So maybe like the plot, the understanding, the characters, and so on and so forth. And then at the end of the spreadsheet, it's got a little formula in there, and it kicks out your number and your star rating. So and
Hmm.
sometimes that worked, but sometimes I found myself like going back through and manipulating the number that I gave it so it would come out what I actually thought it should be. And I was like, this is dumb because I should just skip all this and give it a rating. So yeah.
So he says, thinking about horror you might like, Danielle, I think you should try The Year of the Witching by Alexis Henderson.
I feel like I just picked that up at Barnes and Noble last night and I set it back down. Well, I wasn't trying to buy anything. That's why I set it back down, but
Oh,
yeah.
that never works. Yeah. And Amy is a hardcore cheater
Oh, yes,
for
Amy
point fives.
does. Amy does give partial stars, and that is okay.
I want to all the time, and I try not to. It's hard not to. Yeah, I've thought about just going to the 1 to 10 system and just
Uh-huh.
calling it good, but I haven't done that yet. Is there never a book where you
Mm.
can't just can't decide? I always cheat too, Amy.
Um, I don't have that problem. I just I kind of keep it in mind as I'm reading, and like I said, like with the sanatorium, it has fluctuated, but yeah, I usually know by the time I set it down how I feel about it. So,
And have you always been a reader, or is that something that you just kind of came into later in life?
I could tell lots of stories about this. So, I was I was I was named after an author. If anybody knows Danielle Steele, my mom read quite a bit of her when she was pregnant with me. So, my aunt is a book dragon. Like she hoards books. My mom is a reader. My mom likes more of like nonfiction. And then my grandma, so this is my aunt and my mom's mother. She, when she was in elementary school, read her entire school library, including the encyclopedias. So,
Wow.
I mean, it's like hardcore in my blood. My mom will tell you stories about me being super little. I would get in trouble, get sent to my room. She would go in to check on me, and I am asleep on my bed with nothing but like books around me. So I have always been a reader. Library day was my favorite day at school. I loved the way it smelled. I loved my librarian, Mrs. Heckler. She would sit and she would read us a story out loud, and she was like I can still just see her like perfectly. She was a character like all in her own. She had this just snow white hair and ruby red lipstick and bright blue eyes, and she could just tell a story like nobody's business. And I would literally just sit there and forget where I was even at because I was so just engrossed in what she was saying. So I've always been a reader.
Nice. Kayla says Danielle Steele. I haven't read much, but from what I did read from her made me cry.
Yeah. So I read quite a bit of her in my like late teens, early 20s because, kind of just want to see where you come from, right? Um, but and I did enjoy her books, but it got to the point where they were getting predictable for me because she is absolutely right. They are generally heartbreaking and I could see the ending coming. So I haven't read a Danielle Steele in quite a while.
Hmm. And Kayla says the Scholastic Book Fairs were the best
Oh,
days.
yes. Yes. I
Yeah,
agree.
those are they only happened a couple times a year, right? If I remember right,
I
they
think
weren't
so.
very often. So there was like an event.
Mom would send you some money and just go to town.
Yeah. So what made you decide to start a booktube channel?
Um, I think, I was obviously watching Booktube before I made my channel, and I was like, that looks like a lot of fun. So, and I think I'm naturally a very creative person, so I need an outlet for that, and Booktube works perfectly. So, yeah, that's why. I think I'm coming up on my 1 year Booktube anniversary in November, and I think my first video I did, which was awful, was Believe-a-thon. So How to Train Your Gavin does a read-a-thon once a year, and it's all like middle grade. So that was my first Booktube experience.
Mhm. I think the first video is always the worst one. I think
Yeah.
everyone has that. Yeah,
Oh,
like, gosh, that was awful kind of video out there.
yeah, it was bad. I didn't know anything like about editing or anything like that. So yeah, it was rough. But
Yeah,
it's still up because I need that to go back to and be like, look, see how far you've come, right? Everybody needs one of those.
yeah. I think we all need that just to kind of look back and see. And sometimes I look back and I'm like, I haven't gotten any better, but it's okay.
Whatever.
It's still the same. But the booktube newbie tag, the one that I did, I changed to private just because I got tired of it sitting there. So
Mm-hmm.
one of those. Just can't see it sitting there in the thing
I
anymore.
thought I changed mine to private, and then somebody commented on it the other day, so I'm like, "Oh, maybe I need to go check that again."
Was it private or unlisted? Because I think if it's unlisted, they can still go to it if they have the link.
Oh, okay.
That might be
Mm,
what it was. Yeah, or
maybe.
some magic that the person's using to get to it.
YouTube hacker.
Yeah. What are your favorite types of videos to make? Like, what do you enjoy most about it?
Mm, so I mentioned my TBR game. I do think I do think that's my favorite. Um, and I think I enjoy it because it's fun and I like kind of the spontaneous aspect of it. Like, obviously, I know to a degree what my TBR could potentially look like for that month, but also I don't. So yeah, I like the surprise element of it, and I don't know. I even because when I'm editing and stuff like that, I like just seeing how much fun I'm having. Like, I make myself laugh sometimes. Like, I'm like, man, that girl is like really having a blast. So I think that's what I like about it. I'm doing something that I love.
Nice. I think it's funny that all the things you notice about yourself when you go back and edit your videos and all the weird
Uh-huh.
noises and the weird things you do that you never
Oh yeah.
noticed. Like,
I
oh,
say
it's so
so a
annoying.
lot.
And you really notice those things when you go get edit because you have to edit them out or
Uh-huh.
try to sometimes, and
Yeah.
sometimes just like whatever, I'll leave it. It's fine.
Yeah. Hmm.
It's tough sometimes to get it all out.
For sure.
Do you plan your videos ahead of time, or do you just kind of make whatever you feel like, whatever topic you want to make?
Um I think I plan them ahead of time, but also ahead of time is not it's just like enough time for to plan it out. I so so I've been working on a video. I was sick this month. Can I just say that? I also was sick, so this video was supposed to be out in the world already, but um Martine, there's a channel called Just Martine. She's a college age girl. I think she's like from where I'm from, but she's in Florida now for school. Anyway, she's a lot of fun. Super, super brainy. I think she's studying like forensic psychology or something like that. Anyway, Martine does these videos and they're like Dollar Tree find kind of videos.
Hmm.
And while I haven't done I haven't been to Dollar Tree and done like a Dollar Tree book haul, I I have discovered this website that's called Better World Books, and they sell used books for like cheap. So I got 13 books that had been on my wish list. I did this in August. I might have had a couple drinks one night and decided to order books. I'm wild and crazy. So I ordered 13 new to me books and paid under 50 bucks. So, felt really good about that, and I was going to do a video, and kind of like show each book, give a little synopsis, even do like a price comparison, like, hey, this is what you would have paid if you bought it for new, and this is what I paid, and then kind of do like a grand total at the end. I think I saved because I checked the prices for these new books on like Amazon. I think I saved like $100, which is
Yeah.
just fantabulous. So because I enjoy Martine's videos, and I bounced this off Amy, and she's like, you need to do that. So that's but the question was, do I plan ahead? Barely.
Yeah. And and Amy says, yes, editing is a great time to learn about all the weird physical things you do and say. That's
Hmm.
for sure. And what was that website called? You said
It's called Better World Books.
Better World Books. You should have told me that.
Yeah, and they do like a kind of like a give back kind of thing. So I don't know exactly how it works, but for every book you buy from them, they give back to somebody who needs a book. Is
Oh
basically
wow.
my brief summary of what I understand of it. But
Oh, you should have never
yeah,
told me this. This is
I'm
bad.
sorry, but I'm
No,
also
it's
not
good.
sorry
It's
because
good,
you're
but
going to
it's also
save
bad.
money now.
Yeah. So it's good. It's a good news, bad news situation.
Uh,
Yeah.
uh-huh. Yeah, and
Because yeah.
you can't always find what you're looking for, um, but a lot of time you do. So yeah,
It's not
and
bad.
they have I don't know. I just love that they're not paying me, people, but like they'll send you text messages and like, oh hey, you can save 25% on 4+ used books, and I'm like, oh gosh, suddenly I need books, and so no, the reason I ordered books recently was because I felt like, and tell me if you ever feel like this, but I felt like I was, even though I have plenty of unread books, I felt like I had been staring at all the same ones for too long and I needed to mix it up. That was my logic.
Yeah. I can. Yeah. I'm gonna use that now. So how long have they been sitting there that you? How long before you have to order new books to replace the ones you
uh,
haven't seen on your shelf?
I don't do that very often. I'll order like one here and there, like if it's, for a buddy read or something like that. But like to actually do like a haul, I do that maybe once, twice a year. So
Yes. Yeah.
yeah.
Other websites can be trouble for me. You should have never told me that. But
Divert your
I
eyes.
yeah, and I'm trying not to look at it. But
Hmm.
yeah, that'll be good. That'll be good stuff. But I think that's a great video idea, though.
Yeah.
It'd be fun. You
Yeah.
know,
I'm not
we went to yeah. Go. I'm sorry.
sorry. Oh, I was just going to say, just thinking about different types of videos. Like, I know we were talking about the tag video in the Booktube newbie tag. I
Mhm.
am not, I'm not either not good at them or I just don't really get any like enjoyment out of doing them. I don't, I've, how, I haven't done a whole lot of tags. I don't know if they're
Huh.
just not my jam or what, but
You know, what's so weird about tags is that you'll spend a lot of time and energy on a video, and you know a couple of people watch it, and then you make a tag video in like 10 minutes, and 200 people watch it. It's like I spent like no time on that, but people, I think people just like to know about um, people they watch and want to hear more about their personality and their history and things.
I did see one not that long ago and it was like a scavenger hunt and you tried to do it like in the least amount of time you could, and there were like 20 or something prompts and you had to search your bookshelves. Did you see that one? I
Yeah,
mean
I
that
was tagged in one of those, and I
that
ended up
could be
kind of
fun.
yeah. It looked like a lot of work.
Yeah, well, maybe.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know if I'm ready for that yet. There's some fun tags though.
Yeah, I've been seeing some of the one where it's like your answer can't be books. Mm. Hmm. My answer is always books, so we have a problem. How's this tag gonna work for me?
Yeah, that's a tough one. Yeah, I think Joanna tagged me in her video recently, so I was thinking about doing that one. I don't always do them, but sometimes when the tag's fun, I'll do one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you're not reading, what do you like to do?
Um, I don't know, Steve. I'm boring. I work. I have two teenagers. I have I have to clean house and stuff.
Life
um,
stuff.
I go to concerts sometimes and also sporting events, which I mentioned when we were before we were on air. So yeah, I love blues hockey. I don't know if anybody loves hockey. I love hockey. Um, yeah, I think that's it. I'm not complicated.
And we talked a little bit before we came on about how there's these age ranges of
Oh
creators, and it
yeah,
seems like our age range is kind of there's not too many of us. It seems like
yeah. And when you say our age range, you mean like mid to upper 30s
yeah, or early 40s.
or early 40s.
Yeah,
Yeah. So we are the unicorn of BookTube, and we need to band together.
exactly. Yeah, it seems like there's the younger, like younger 20s, and then there's the older crowd, and there's us in the middle, kind of not knowing what we're doing. So it's interesting.
Yeah.
So whenever we, like I mentioned this before we went live, but whenever we find people our age, we're like, I want to, let's be friends.
Right.
Yeah,
Yes. Insta friends.
yeah. And I'm not sure if you watch the Friday conversation we had with reading and whatnot, but we had a long conversation about cake and pie.
Oh, I
So
feel like
yeah,
maybe I saw a tweet about this.
yes,
about,
yeah.
about
We
some
had a
kind of
long debate.
debate about
Hmm.
cheesecake. Was it about
Yes,
cheesecake?
well, that's part of it. If
Okay.
cheesecake is cake or pie, because
Yeah.
this is the important information we
I
need.
did
This is
not
what
vote on that one because I felt like it was a trick question.
it was a trick question.
Yeah. Is it? What do you think, Steve?
I
Cake or
think it's
pie?
cake because cake is in the
Because it's
name.
called cheesecake. Yes. Okay, that was my first instinct. I should have went with that.
So the second question is, since cheesecake is in the cake category, is cake or pie better? Did you prefer cake or pie? Which do you prefer? Which is better?
Mm, mm. Oh, I like both cake and pie, but right now, like if you ask me right now if I wanted a piece
Hmm.
of cake or a piece of pie, I would tell you I wanted a piece of pie.
Hmm. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
I think Kayla is in the pie category if I remember right. I'm pro cake, but you know,
Yeah.
yeah.
So we're like rolling into like pumpkin pie season. My family has like a bad to the bone pecan pie recipe. Like this is yeah.
Probably the wrong time of year to ask this question because there's too many good pies going
Right.
around right now. Yeah, so
Yeah.
really bad timing.
But
Yeah,
there are some good cakes. So we were talking about St. Louis earlier. Have you ever tried gooey butter cake?
no, but it sounds delicious.
Oh my gosh. You need that in your life like yesterday. Yeah, and then your answer will always be cake.
Okay, so what is it? You have to, no, I'm curious.
So there's a lot of powdered sugar involved and a lot of butter, and I'm not sure what else, but it's delicious.
Do you really
Yeah.
need anything else? If there's sugar and butter, I mean,
Powdered sugar and butter. What more
you
could
could
you
stop
want?
right there. Yeah,
Yeah.
just give me some crust and we'll call it good.
Do we eat
Uh,
pie hot?
Deep pie hot? Well, it depends, all right. I think
It does
depends like the
depend.
type of pie.
Hot pie, like hot pie with like ice cream? Yes. All the yes.
Yeah, make you make it's yeah.
But it also depends on the pie because if you're talking like I don't know if you're a coconut person, but if you're talking like coconut cream pie, that's got to be cold. You shouldn't eat that hot. I mean, you could.
Mm, yeah, I think they'll probably fall apart on you though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kayla says, I love pie.
Pumpkin.
Pumpkin is my favorite.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. Pumpkin gooey
Oh,
butter cake.
Amy. Mm. Mhm. Yep. I'm gonna have to go bake now. I do like to bake. That's yeah.
Oh, you do? Oh, nice.
Mhm. Yeah.
I don't know what that is, but it sounds really good. Pumpkin
Sounds
and gooey.
it sounds amazing. Pie's hot, a la mode
Hmm.
with the ice cream.
That does sound good. So the next question I have for you is, which format of books do you enjoy reading? Do you like ebooks,
Oh,
paperbacks, hardcovers?
that was a good one. Um, I like physical books. I probably prefer physical books as far as like hardback or paperback. I don't necessarily have a preference. My only beef with hardbacks is that obviously they're heavier, they're bulkier, but
Hmm.
then I also feel like I have to take the dust jacket off so I don't mess up the dust jacket. And that's a little bit annoying because then I have like dust jackets laying everywhere. But ebooks ebooks are good every once in a while. And like I read two e arcs this month, and it was good just to kind of mix it up. I do like to mix it up.
Hmm. Do you get a lot of arcs? That's something that I know some people read exclusively arcs. Do you read
Hmm.
a lot of those?
Yeah, and then there's some people that like won't read arcs at all.
Hmm.
Like they'll say in their like description, like I do not accept review requests, which I don't necessarily understand that, but um the arcs I get, like right now, the two I read were NetGalley arcs, and then like I made some connections on like Goodreads and like Instagram, where like authors or even Twitter technically,
Hmm.
where authors are looking to for somebody to read their book. And I did learn pretty early on to, before I give a yes or no, to kind of see what I'm getting myself into and maybe like read a little sample or something like that. But yeah, because I read some pretty rough stuff right there at the beginning. And
Really?
I do not like giving negative reviews. Like that is hard for me for some reason, especially
Yeah.
if it's an author that's not, you know, they're not maybe like real well known, or they're just starting out or something like that. I know how much work they poured into that, so I don't, it is hard for me to give a negative review. I don't like it. So that's why I try to not go in blind.
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough when you, especially with arcs, because they're giving you a chance to read it early, and then you go and you hate it. Then you feel bad about it.
Yeah. I say a lot of time, like, okay, just because I'm saying no this time doesn't mean don't reach out to me in the future. Sometimes it just depends what I have going on, and like schedule wise, does it work out? So yeah,
Yeah.
I do not like to commit to arcs and then not have the time for them. So like if I say I'm going to read it, I'm going to read it.
Yeah.
So
And Amy says that pumpkin gooey butter cake is like 900 calories per slice. Killjoy.
yeah, but totally worth it. I mean, I'm sure if you just had, it's not like you're eating it every day.
Yeah, just eat the whole thing and just you have calories for like
You
a
need to
week.
share it. You need to have some friends and share it. But yeah.
That's the best way, so you don't eat it all by yourself.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, we stopped eating sugar about 2 years ago. So
Oh my gosh.
yeah. So whenever I hear about pies and cakes, and it's like, oh, it's tough.
Yeah. I've had a phase where like I was off sugar, and I will say you do feel amazing. Like I wasn't requiring these like midday naps. I had, so like energy wise, I was feeling really good, but I fell off the wagon, and so there's definitely sugar in my life again.
It's really easy to fall off the wagon because there's so many things out there you can eat with sugar in it. So it's tough.
Oh yeah, there's sugar in everything.
Yeah, it's hard. Well, when you find the things you like, the alternatives, it's not too bad, but it's still not the same.
Hmm.
Not that sugar.
So what are the alternatives?
There's a lot of different types of sweeteners you can get, or
Yeah.
other things you can get that are made of different sweeteners. So
Hmm.
some of them still spike your blood sugar, so your body still
Yes.
thinks it's processing sugar. So it's
Hmm.
you know
Do you guys do you guys eat fruit?
no,
No.
not even fruit. No, not even some
That's
vegetables.
hardcore.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
So like sweet potatoes and
Nope.
tomatoes and
Tomatoes,
all that.
yeah, we can
You
eat
do?
tomatoes once in a while. But yeah, my wife makes a great sugar-free butter cake. Thankfully, my wife is a great cook and uh, makes food for me. Otherwise, I'd never be able to do it because I'd be stuffing donuts all day. But
Oh, see,
yeah,
donuts are my kryptonite. Hmm. If I had to pick pie or donuts, I would pick donuts every
well,
time.
donuts are probably cake.
Oh my
I think
gosh.
donuts would
Are
fall in the
they?
cake category. I would say. I think donuts are cake.
I'm gonna have to think about this.
Donuts are cake for sure. What does everyone here think? Donuts are donuts cake? Are they in the cake? They're definitely not pie. They've got
No.
to be in the cake category.
I see them as like on a plane of their own. Like donuts are from the heavenlies, you know?
They could be something different. There is that group that think that cheesecake is a whole nother world. It's
Uh-huh.
not cake or pie, so that's fair.
Hmm.
I took a few boxes of donuts in at work just to pass them out, to be try and get people to like me, and so just carrying see the donuts, and oh,
Here,
that
eat
was
these.
tough.
I'm not going to.
Yeah, it's pretty much like, please take these away from me, and of course, no one had a problem with that. So
Good.
donuts
Yeah.
are bread. You can make them into sandwiches.
They're bread.
That's a good point.
That makes more sense
That does make
than
more
cake.
sense. I'm glad Saf is here to set us straight.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I have seen some like state fairs and things that they cut the donut in half and then they put it on the burners and then they make it into a cheeseburger out of a donut.
Really?
Yeah, ridiculous. But yeah,
I would try that.
I try that too. Maybe one of these days. Oh, they like sugar bread and donuts are fried, so they're different. That's fair. I will concede that is they are different.
I'm thinking of like funnel cake. Funnel cake is also fried, and it's called a cake, but it's made of like the same stuff as donuts. That is so confusing.
So it's a cousin
It's a
of donuts
donut
and cake.
cousin.
It's what connects it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And it's funny you mentioned about negative reviews because I've struggled with posting negative reviews too. And a few
Hmm.
people have told me that it's important to post negative reviews and still be and not to trash it, but just to give
Yeah.
reasons why you liked it, why you didn't, and because people still want to know what you liked and what you didn't like. It's just hard.
I know. I
You
can't
know.
remember who you were having that conversation with because I was watching that and like I was sharing that I gave like a 3-star review
Yeah, I remember that
to
you
a
mentioned it.
middle grade book. And so 3 stars. So for on my scale, it was okay. It, and I even made sure to like point out the good things and everything like that. And then I said specifically, you know, this, and this just wasn't for me. So I wasn't even really like necessarily picking on the person, the writer, but she had like a gang of like friends and they came and they were like, "You are a bad person," and they like commented on my stuff on Goodreads, and I was like, "I'm not reading any more of her stuff because like, you know, that's mean."
That is mean. I shouldn't. I laugh because it's ridiculous, not because it's funny. Um, so I think I was talking to Jay when that because we had the
Might
conversation
have been
about
Jay. Mhm.
yeah reviews and star ratings, and that I remember you mentioned that about the 3-star review because 3 stars is good. It's not negative. It's
Right.
good.
Right. We were talking about whether or not 3 stars is good or bad
Hmm.
and how like it used to be good and now it can be taken as bad. So,
Yeah, that's awful. That's too bad. So
when
what you
I
have to do
know
is make a YouTube video on it now and give it a 2-star review.
I would not do that.
No, I'm just teasing. I wouldn't either, but just teasing.
um what so for a little while I was reviewing books as part of like a what is it even called? I'm drawing a blank. But there was basically a lady on Instagram and she was like recruiting people to give reviews and then you know you would post on a certain day or you would commit to posting
Mhm.
on a certain day like leading up to this book maybe coming out or something like that and they will like specifically tell you like don't give it less than 4 stars, like don't
Really?
even review
Like,
it if you're going to give it less than 4 stars, and I'm like, well, that's not genuine. Like
wow.
I can be, I could really be misleading people. I always try to keep in mind that just because a book is not for me doesn't mean it's not for somebody else. But also, like, don't even post if it's gonna be less than 4 stars. I'm just like, okay.
Wow. And I think they encourage people to do that because people feel like they're getting things for free. So they feel like if they play along and they give positive reviews, they may not even read the book, but they just give a positive review because they want free stuff. and I
Yeah.
feel like
And
I'm doing something.
as a reader though, that really sucks. Like that changed my whole perspective when I go and look at star ratings. Like I'm like, okay, is that really how they felt about it? Or were they just part of like this I don't know why I'm drawing a blank on what it's called, but it's like some kind of like
It's like a panel.
tour. It's like a tour, like a
Yeah,
book tour.
yeah, I was emailed one of those one time.
Yeah.
And there was one book that I was asked to review. I forget the name of it now, but it wasn't very good. But when I looked on Goodreads, the average is like 4.5, and there's no way it was that high. I mean, there's just no
Mhm.
way. But a lot of the 5-star reviews started with, "I received this book for free for as," so it's like,
Yes.
nah, I don't. So whenever
Yeah.
I see that now, I'm jaded now. So I'm like, ah, that's BS. Can't be that good. I probably miss out on good books that way, but
Mhm. I received
yeah.
a copy of this book in advance for my honest review.
Mm,
If I do that, I tend to tack it at the end of my review, but
that's probably smart.
yeah.
Saf had a question. Are pancakes are where on the spectrum?
Pancakes? Uh,
It's a great question. What do you think?
well, there's cake in the name. So if we're going with that theory, method, I don't know. Pancakes are breakfast. They're they're in the breakfast category.
On the breakfast planet, I think pancakes are a cake because they have cake in the name,
See?
just like
Mhm.
cheesecake. But I'm
Mhm.
biased. Amy says I've seen people be vicious on Goodreads. Ridiculous. Yeah, there people are can be nasty.
That reminds me, I read a 2-star read last month, and it was a cozy mystery, and, like, I guess I haven't read a whole bunch of cozy mysteries because I didn't realize it was a cozy mystery, like, until I went to go write my review, and I was kind of, like, researching it 'cause I really do go in blind a lot of time because I don't like to like, I'm not one that will necessarily read reviews before I read the book, but where was I going with this? Oh, yeah, the so I gave it 2 stars, and at this point, I'm like, "Man, was I the only one that felt this way about this book?" So then I went on Goodreads and I was looking at the reviews. I was laughing hysterically. The reviews were better than the book. Like, they were I could have sat there and read them just for hours. It was hilarious. I wrote something down about I quoted somebody. Like, I wrote it down for my own enjoyment, let's put it that way. Some comment somebody made, but yeah,
Wow, must be pretty good.
it's good stuff.
Expedition through pages says I know a lot of people that avoid books if they are rated uh, less than 4 on Goodreads, but 3 I agree isn't bad, and everyone likes things different anyway. Different
Yeah,
things anyway.
yeah. I know 5-star reviews, like, tend to catch my attention, but I don't necessarily, count a book out just because it's lower stars, so
Yeah. She also says that, but maybe that's why authors can be touchy about it. Yeah, it's it's a little crazy how much power reviews and average reviews have on book buying habits. It's kind of like Rotten Tomatoes in movies because sometimes if a movie is interesting to someone, they won't watch it because it has a low tomato score or whatever it's called.
mhm. But I find with movies especially, I tend to like different things than the Rotten Tomatoes people like. Like, if I hear that the critics gave it a low rating, I'm like, "Oh, I'm gonna love it." So, yeah, you can't always go by that.
I am the same way. Whenever everyone hates the movie, I'm like, I need to watch that movie because I'll probably like it.
Right?
Yeah. Kayla says I give honest reviews, but if it's a bad review, I won't make a video. Only review on Goodreads.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
and there's
Brent,
been some discussion about, like, whether or not to tag the author and stuff like that.
yeah,
Don't tag the author if it's bad.
yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think if they ask you for an honest review and you give them an honest review, then they're kind of asking for it. But I don't
Mhm.
think it should be nasty. I mean, if you're be constructive and but don't be nasty about it. Just give your honest thoughts.
Yeah.
Brandy says they add cake to the name of everything like pancake, cheesecake, funnel cake because cake is awesome. This is true. This is true. And it's funny about the the negative review people, the negative reaction people have to reviews on books that they really love is really weird to me. Like,
Oh,
yeah, I gave a book a 2-star review, and I had hate mail, and people take things personal sometimes. So it's too bad.
and like I haven't watched any of them, but I even think people have made videos of like reading negative reviews about my favorite book. I should watch something like that because that could be funny. But
Yeah, I think it's kind of weird. Like, I don't know. I guess I just don't understand why. I think part of it is just to mock people who don't like things you do. Kind of like, look how stupid this person is because they don't like what I like. It's like, why?
see, that's the thing. If we all like the same stuff, it would be boring.
Definitely. Yeah,
It would be really boring.
definitely.
People are free to choose.
Yep. And what was the last great book you've read that really stuck out to you?
The City of Brass.
Oh, that's right.
hmm
I've heard a lot about that book.
I loved it, and I have the second one, but I haven't started it. But yeah, it was just one of those books that I mean, it's a pretty hefty book, so I kind of had to pace myself over the month, and I, you know, tabbed out my reading goal for the day, kind of thing. And I was really glad that I did it that way because it was one that I did not want to rush through it. It was just I savored every bite, and you just know sometimes when you got magic in your hands, you're like, "Oh, geez, this is gonna be one of my new favorites." And that was how I felt about that. I'm like, this book is why I read books right here. So,
Wow.
yeah, The City of Brass.
And was that a 5-star read for you guys? For you?
Yes. Yeah. That I didn't have to think too hard about that one.
And the
Yeah.
Expedition Through Pages says, "Thanks for the chat, guys. I have to head off now as it's 1 a.m. Oh, so I want to read
Thank you,
City of Brass.
Kim.
Thank you for dropping by. Sleep well."
She's one of my lunar along buddies.
Oh, great. And can you tell us about your lunar along? It's a read along, right?
Yeah. So at the beginning of the year when everybody was making their yearly booktube goals, one of my goals was that I was going to reread The Lunar Chronicles by Marissa Meyer. So if you don't know, they're YA sci-fi fairy tale retellings, basically. And each book is like a retelling of a different character. Cinder is Cinderella, Scarlet is Red
Oh.
Riding Hood,
Oh,
Cress
okay.
is Rapunzel, and so on. And the cool thing is that all of their stories combine into one big story.
Hmm.
So in like 2015, I had read with my mom and dad, Buddy read with my mom and dad, um, Cinder, Scarlet, and Cress. I started Winter, and for whatever reason, I didn't finish it, which is really weird because I know I was enjoying the series. So it was one I knew I wanted to revisit, and I wanted to revisit it with friends. So I put the word out. Amy graciously agreed to co-host, Amy at A Star Reads, and then one other girl who wound up when it got a little bit closer to time, because we didn't start until what month is this?
It's
So
October now.
we didn't
So
start till August. So probably this summer when it started to get a little bit closer to time, she was like, I got live stuff. I got to bow out. And that was fine. So it's me and Amy, and we're reading basically one book a month. There's a couple of like 0.5 books, like 3.5 and 4.5. So
hmm.
we're gonna double up. Um, and then we even extended it a month to read that last smaller book. Just because Winter, which is the fourth book, is a monster, and so we weren't going to be able to
Hmm.
do two in that month. But we do sprints like mid-month on either my channel or Amy's channel, and then at the end of the month we discuss the book live. And the dream team, yeah, and we got the hugest compliment on our last sprints. One of Pages with Paige, which if you don't subscribe to her, you should because she's awesome. I am plugging Paige. Um, she she was like, "So you guys want to do another? Like, we're not even done with this one." And she's like, "You guys want to plan another one? Like, you guys are. I love your dynamic. I love the structure." And I just was like, "Really?" So that was a huge compliment, and
Oh, that's cool.
I think we will do another one.
Any idea what the next series will be?
Um, no, we had Amy made a list because we had people like throwing out ideas, but I honestly have no idea.
Hmm. Yeah, those are really fun. I noticed you guys have reading sprints and things. It looks like fun.
It is fun. It's been a lot of fun.
And is that almost so? You started in August. Is it almost over with the series, or are you halfway through, or how many books are in the series?
There's 4 main books, so
Oh,
we're
okay.
doing the 3rd book this month, and then one of the point 0.5 books, one of the smaller books. So yeah, we kind of took a vote because originally we were just going to do the main books, and then in the Discord there were some people that had some interest in reading the smaller ones that I don't know if she wrote after the fact. I really don't know, but it's like they're called Fairest and Stars Above, and um, so anyway, we're reading the 3rd main one and then the 3.5 this month. So
Oh, cool. And I will put the Discord link in the description after when I get it from you. I'll add it to the
okay,
to the
awesome.
description. Yeah, if you
Yeah,
want
the
to peek
more the
at it.
merrier. And really, if anybody wants to join, I swear you have time to catch up because these books read really fast. And we have people that are done like within the first couple days of the month, and they're like, "Oh gosh, now I
Wow,
have to wait, until next month." So, yeah,
that sounds like fun. It's kind of what what I enjoy most about BookTube is the group of buddy reads and the meetups and
me too.
discussions and stuff.
Hmm.
And lately I've been wondering. I see a lot of reviewers who give 5 stars to everything. Like just they love every book. Does that
Yeah.
worry you when you see a reviewer who loves everything?
No, it doesn't worry me. Um,
Or do you
I
avoid
feel
what they suggest, I guess?
no, no. I feel like I feel like there are maybe this is just my opinion, but there are maybe some reviewers that are stingy with their 5 stars. I tend to give quite a few 5 stars. Like if I make it through a month and don't have any 5 stars, you probably ought to check on me because something's not right. But something that goes along with that too is I feel like I know what I like. And so, yeah, I'm going to have 5 stars. I'm picking books that are like my thing. Um so no, I do not think people lose credibility for giving 5 stars. No way.
Hmm, interesting. Yeah, whenever I see a reviewer who gives who gives 5 stars all the time,
Uh-huh.
little
Makes you
I don't
nervous.
know about that. Like, not everything can have 5 stars. I mean, that you know,
It's
once in a while, but
okay. It's okay to like question it and be
yeah,
like, is this legit? But I think I'm just trying to say that I think sometimes it is legit. Sometimes maybe it's not.
yeah,
So you just have to kind of weigh that for yourself.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm glad they enjoy a lot of things they read. I just like I'm not sure I'll take every suggestion they have because I'm not sure about
Yeah,
their rating system.
I hear you.
And you mentioned another book that you had started and finished. Do you DNF a lot of books?
No.
No.
No, no, no. Um it is rare for me to DNF a book. Like and and like I said, yeah, I put that book down, but it ain't over. It's not it's not over till it's over. So, I haven't said there's a difference I think between putting it down with the intention of eventually picking it back up and putting it down because it was not good and you don't want anything to do with it?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I haven't had a whole lot of that. I can think of one that I'd rather not say, but like within the past couple years. So that's very little, I think, for DNFing.
It's pretty good. Brandy says, I give a lot of 5 stars and I'm not ashamed.
Thank you for that. I feel affirmed.
Yeah, she likes to give 5 stars out. So, and Saf says, I tend to learn the 5 star aficionados reading tastes and see how well we align. That's
That is smart.
Yeah, that is smart. Definitely.
5-star
Uh,
aficionado.
yeah, I like that.
Hmm.
I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna use that again. So, and you mentioned earlier, I think on Twitter, about how you started a book, but you finished it in
Oh
October.
gosh.
And my vote was, if you start a book and you get more than halfway through, then that book should go into that month.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the sanatorium. I had every intention of finishing it last night. Got home late from that baseball game and was just like a zombie. So I fell asleep right away. And this morning I was like, well, if I finish it today, could I still count it toward my September books? Even though and it's not going to affect my TBR game because it wasn't a TBR game book. So I'm not like trying to cheat in that way, and I'm like, can I count this for my September book? So I put a little poll up on Twitter, and last time I looked, everybody was like, the most everybody was like, oh yeah, it counts.
Yeah.
It's 60 pages left. So,
Yeah, that's fair. And uh, mentioning Twitter and social media, I think since we are closer in age, I'm curious to hear what you think about social media and how you use social media, because I think we have a different view on social media than the younger generation, even than the older generation, because we didn't get it until later. We remember the time that it wasn't everyday life. So, how do
hmm
you use social media? Do you use it daily? Do you are there certain things that you do to kind of buffer yourself and kind of limit your time?
hmm so I mean, like, I have a personal Facebook page, but I'm never on there. I hate Facebook. The only reason I have it is because I think I need Messenger,
Hmm.
and yeah. Um, I have, my Twitter and my YouTube and my Instagram are all my my book my book account, so I do it like to connect with other people who, share the same love of reading that I do. Um, I am not, this may be dangerous to say, but I'm just going to say it because it's true.
Okay.
I am not about likes and followers.
Yeah.
Like, I am all about like forming relationships and connecting with people and sharing something that I love. Um, yeah, as far as like, oh, by the way, social media. So I loaded TikTok on my phone today.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
I Snapchat with my kids, so I do that. I'm not. I have figured that out, but the TikTok, what is that, and how do I do it? Because I noticed I had a problem right away because I don't like. I'm so weird. I don't like Instagram Reels. So like when people make the little videos, I don't I don't like them. I don't know why, but I don't. And so TikTok is just nothing but reels. And I'm like,
Hmm.
well crap, this isn't going to work. But I had heard like people, doing like book talk, and you know, I'm like, maybe I can follow that, but I looked at it today and I was like, I don't think it's for me.
Yeah.
But as far as a buffer, like Sunday, I wasn't on my phone at all. Like I didn't touch it. And sometimes I have to do that. Sometimes I just have to unplug.
Hmm.
And I think that's healthy every once in a while.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think Instagram is going to be basically TikTok soon.
That's
I
not
think
going
they're
to work for
changing it.
me.
Yeah, I think they're changing it. I think that's what I saw recently, that they were going to they're going to change the platform and focus more on videos and less on pictures, which is a bummer.
Yeah, that makes me sad. I enjoy like the aesthetic like aspect. My page is not like really pleasing to the eye or anything, but I enjoy the ones that are, and I enjoy like just reading the caption. I am content with that. I do, I don't know. I might be old. I'm not sure.
You said
But
readings for old people. Yeah, 15-second videos are what all the kids are doing
Oh my
now.
god. My brain does not work like that. I cannot process what I am seeing, you know? I
Yeah,
just I just can't. And it's not have you ever heard of Dr. Caroline Leaf?
no, I don't think so.
Hey, anyway, she writes like a lot about the brain. And I remember reading something of hers or watching something of hers, and she said, like, even Twitter, like, that's not necessarily good for us. Like, all the
Yeah,
scrolling, we need to like have an idea and like sit with that idea for a minute and decide how we think about that. But we don't do that. And then like especially my kids, like they'll be on their phone for a while and then my daughter's making a funny face at me. They'll be on their phone for a while and like they get crabby. You know, like
hmm,
you try to talk to them and they'll like snap at you. And it's like it's because their brain has just had enough. That's my
yeah,
opinion. But
I agree. And John says, I'm cool with someone finishing a book on the first or second and counting it for the previous month.
thank you, John.
There you go. And Amy agrees. And Brandy says, Discord is the only way I can reach my kids sometimes. I use it
Mhm.
for that, even though I hate it. We have
That's why I have
teenagers too.
Snapchat. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I read a book recently, or probably in January, February, called Take Your Life Back or something like that. It was about technology and how our brains are not equipped to process information so fast. So it's interesting when you look into it, how your brains just don't, it's not good for you.
Yeah.
But but they make these platforms so they're addictive and you want to keep coming back. So it makes it difficult.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
you get that like dopamine rush or whatever.
Mm.
You know, you get dependent on those little chimes, you know.
Oh yeah. Little hearts or likes or whatever it may be, a little
Mhm.
dopamine hit. Yeah.
Well, and like, you know, people think their whole worth is like tied up in their subscribers or their followers. It's not. And like I reminded somebody the other day on Twitter. I'm like, this is supposed to be fun. This is supposed to be fun.
Supposed to be, yeah.
If you're not having
Sometimes not.
fun, you need to reevaluate. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Put the phone down for a little while.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, was it too pain? Was it okay, or were you? Because I know you were a little nervous before. Was it okay?
Yeah. No, it was
Okay.
good.
Okay.
It was good. I had a lot of fun.
Okay. Good. I want to thank you for coming by and coming to chat on this Friday. I like doing the Fridays because it's like a fun way to end the week,
Yeah,
kick off
for
the
sure.
weekend. Yeah. So for people who aren't familiar with your channel, where can they find you? Your channel name?
Yeah.
Where can people find more? And your Instagram or your Twitter even? So we just talk about how evil social media is and like where can they find you on social media? But
You can find me pretty much everywhere at Bookchara, Bookchara. And Steve asked me about the pronunciation earlier. People say it Bookchara, and that's okay. I don't mind. The Kara part. So, little like quick story behind this. When I went to go make my Instagram name, I wanted it to be Book Joy because books bring me joy. And Book Joy was already taken. So at the time I was teaching online Bible study. I was big into like word studies and like so like Greek word studies. And Kara is Greek for joy. So if you wonder where that
oh,
came from, it's still Book
oh,
Joy, but it's just Greek.
okay, yeah. I was wondering about that. I'm glad that's cool.
Yep.
That's cool. And Seth says thanks for the chat. See y'all for midnight mass tomorrow. Tomorrow night we're chatting midnight
Bye,
mass.
Saf.
And Brandy says, great conversation. I subbed. Looking forward to your channel. And we'll be bugging you about Dracula. So we're hoping that you'll
Yeah.
join. Yeah.
Yes. It's happening.
Awesome. And Amy too, if you're still here, you're of course, or anyone who wants to join, but Amy, if you're invited as well to come and chat Dracula. And we are watching the Netflix series Dracula. I've never seen it, but we're watching
Okay.
that. I think it's like 3 or 4 episodes. We're doing that the same day. We're chatting about Dracula on Netflix, and then we're doing the book review
Okay.
or discussion.
Okay.
Yeah.
So are you watching Dracula after you read the book, or
Probably. Yeah. I think I'll probably get to Dracula first, but either
mm,
order. I think we're doing the stream first, the TV series, and then we're doing the book after. I think.
John's doing Dracula?
Mhm.
So when is the discussion? You said the 30th?
It is on the. Let me pull up the date really
I
quick.
feel like I have a concert that day. That's funny. Okay.
Oh, really?
The 30th
Let's see.
and
The 30th at noon.
oh,
Oh,
okay.
my time. So it'll be 1 your time. I think. I think you're Central, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, be 1 o'clock your time.
Do you is it on your channel, or is it like this where you have to send the link?
I'm not sure who's hosting
Oh, okay.
those, but yeah, we'll post a link on stream on the calendar, and then
Okay.
it'll be the streamer link, and then you can join it from there.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, but we are doing the book first at 1, and then at 2:30 we're doing the TV series discussion.
Okay.
Yeah,
Exciting.
that's awesome. Always fun to make new buddy read buddies.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, good stuff. Cool. Well, thanks again for coming by. And I think, oh, okay, John says I think Stacy's hosting. Yeah, I'm not even
Okay.
sure. I lose track of who's hosting. Yeah, I'm glad someone's here to remind me, because it's hard to keep up. But thanks again for coming by. I hope it wasn't too nerve wracking. Hope it was
Thanks for
okay.
having me. No, it was
Yeah.
fun.
Thanks everyone for coming by and chatting with us in the chat. It was fun. And cake is still better than pie, but I'm gonna I'm gonna die on that hill. But thanks everyone for coming by. I'll see you guys this weekend tomorrow.